It is the last TBR of the year, guys. We have made it through 2023 and we have our final TBR to go ahead and get through. So I don't really have much to say. Let's just go ahead and dive right on in, shall we? So first up, normally I have book club picks. As of right now, Cheyenne and I still have not picked, like by the time that I'm filming, we still haven't picked our smut club pick for December. So I obviously do not have that to share with you guys, but we will announce it whenever we have it. So I just got to get into all the rest of the books that I want to read this month. So first up, I will be reading Reckless by Elsie Silver. So me and my best friend, we buddy read a book together almost like every single month or so. And Reckless is the one that I picked for us to read next. Normally what we do, we each option up a couple options for us. And then like we kind of go back and forth until we narrow down to one. And we just read The Right Move and she loved it. So I wanted to give another romance. And I have a feeling she's going to really like this one because I think the smut's going to be good. And I think the story is going to be something that she's going to like because this one is an accidental pregnancy, small town romance, and like she kind of likes country type stuff. So I just have a feeling she's gonna like it. I loved Heartless so much. That is like a book that really surprised me with how much I enjoyed it. I really liked Flawless too. I haven't read Powerless. I'm not planning to read that one. I'm not really interested in it, but I'm very interested in Reckless because I really like the heroine from this one. So she is very like icy and is a little bit like closed off, and I don't know, I think she ends up having like a one night stand with this dude and it ends up being their romance and she ends up being pregnant. I don't know. I love an accidental pregnancy. I don't like kids. I don't like secret babies, but I love surprise pregnancies. So I'm looking forward to this one. Then I have the only new release that I have on this list for this month, which is Own Me by K.A. Tucker. This is the, I think, final book in the Wolf Hotel series. That series has been like finished for a long time, like the 4 books, but she decided to add an additional book into the mix and I'm so excited for this one. I don't really think there's been much information released, even like what it's about. I know it's Abby and Henry again, but as far as like the actual story, the actual plot, I don't really know what's going on with it, but I don't really care. I'm just so excited to be back with them. I loved the Wolf Hotel series when I binged it last year, and I'm really looking forward to getting another Henry and Abby book. And I'm hoping that maybe we'll see some more Ronan and Margot. I'd love to see some more of them. So that's that. Next, I have 2 holiday novellas. I wonder also, oh my God, square necklines bug the shit out of me with like bra straps. I'm gonna try to like tuck my sweater into it so that way it doesn't keep popping out. That like annoys me so much when you can see that. So anyways, we'll see. Okay, I have 2 holiday novellas up next. So the first one that I want to read is Trick Shop by Kayla Grossi. I'm not sure how you pronounce the last name here, but this one is an MMF holiday novella, which I like some holiday reads, but I don't need anything more than a novella. I don't need a full-length book. Like this is kind of gonna do it for me, but this one sounds pretty good. So I think our heroine, she meets one of the heroes at an airport when like her flight gets delayed or canceled or something. And I think she mistakes him as his twin brother, who's like a famous athlete or something. And they end up like going somewhere and like having a great night together. And I don't really know how the third hero comes into the mix. Like if the 2 guys already know each other or if like he just ends up being like a fun addition into their dynamic when they're off together somewhere. I honestly don't really know. I've just been seeing, I know Caitlin from the Love Librarian was the one who I saw this on her stories talking about it, and I was like, fine, I'll download it, fine, I'll do it. Like it doesn't take a lot to convince me, especially when it's MMF. So really excited for this one, and I think it's gonna like just kind of scratch that holiday itch that I need for. Where then the other one that I also want to read is Keep You Both by Catherine Nolan. So this one again is another holiday novella, but this one is MFF. And it's a wedding planner who falls in love with the couple that she's planning their wedding for. Hell yeah, that sounds great. I'm excited for this one. I haven't really heard anything. Honestly, I don't even know how I found this one. I can't even remember, but it's been on my TBR now for a couple of weeks and I've just been kind of waiting for December to read it. But now it is December, it is time, and I'm looking forward to it. I don't feel like there's enough MFF, so I'm I'm really looking forward to this one. I think it'll be good. I've never read anything by this author before, so also excited to give a new author a go. And yeah, we will see how it turns out. Okay, now we got another new release, but this one actually releases, does it release today when I'm filming this? Or maybe tomorrow, I think. And that is Caution to the Wind by Gianna Darling. We are finally getting the 7th book in the Fallen Men series. Gianna Darling is back, and I am very excited for Caution to the Wind. So this one follows Axemen in May. Right? I think those are the two. Honestly, I remember like back when this was about to come out, I had reread a couple of books in the series to kind of get ready for it because I have read them all. And I think you can read these as standalones. However, I think there's like some plot stuff that's starting to kind of overlap a little bit, especially specifically with book 6 in this one. Book 6 is Dead Man Walking, one of my favorites in the series. And I don't know, I'm just excited. I think we've already met both of these characters before. Axeman, I think, he's a member of the Fallen Men MC. In May, I don't think she is. I think she's an outsider, which I'm kind of excited for. I don't know. I just love Gianna Darling's writing. It's beautiful. I'm not the biggest MC person, but for some reason, like, this series just like completely works for me, and I think it's because her writing is just so beautifully done, and I love her characters, so I'm really looking forward to this one. I don't really know though what like the plot is. I don't really remember, to be honest, but I'm really looking forward to reading it. Next up, I got Where There's a Will by Jessie Walker. So this one is going to be, it was going to be the next book that I was going to read. I'm finishing Gratify right now by Caitlin Tyler, and then I was going to pick this one up, but however, Knock Knock by Nordica Knight releases in 2 days, so I'm for sure picking that up as soon as it drops. So this will be then the next read that I'm going to pick. This is an romance, and Lizelle was the one who had told me about this one because I love, like, y'all know how much I love Garen Parks, and she was like, these two give me kind of similar energy to the two heroes from that one because it's like super toxic, super angsty, and this one is also a rock star romance, and y'all know how much I love my rock stars. I didn't realize that like not that many people did until I saw like I got so many people messaging me, or people would like include in their reviews of Take You Down, like, I normally don't like rock star romances, but I gave this one a go. And I'm like, oh, I didn't realize that so many people don't like rock stars. I love them. And this one just sounds incredible. And I think it's kind of like Second Chance-ish too. And just like super toxic. I don't know. It sounds amazing. And Lizelle like loved it and was raving about it to me and just said, and like she had compared it to Garen Parks. So I'm looking forward to reading this one. Definitely like probably the highest priority read on this list right now for me. Next up, I want to read Blindside by Candy Steiner. This one has actually been on a couple of my TBRs. This is one that I have really been wanting to read for a long time. Sam from Sam Reads Little, this is like one of her favorites from Candy. And I remember back when this came out, like she couldn't stop raving about it, and I wanted to read it then. However, it's the second book, and even though it is a standalone, me with my like inability to like skip books and series, I'm trying to get better about that. But I was like, I gotta read Fair Catch first, and then I did, and I like liked it, whatever, and then I just kind of didn't feel like picking up Blindside after right away. But now I'm putting it back into the mix because this was another one that I optioned up with my friend to do for our pick this month, and then we ended up going with Reckless. But this one is a fake dating, or not fake dating, is it fake dating? It's kind of like arrangement, and I think it is fake dating. But it's like in college with a football player, and the heroine, I don't remember like what she's up to, but he needs help with something, and she agrees to help him if he'll give her some lessons, and like she doesn't really know how to like flirt with guys or how to like really, just like interact, I guess, with them, and he ends up agreeing to help her out with that. And then I also think he ends up giving her some lessons in other places or in other things. And I don't know, it just sounds really good. And I'm kind of just in like that kind of fake dating kind of mood. So I'm putting it back on the TBR because I do really want to read this one. Then next up, I have Wit by Cora Rose. So this one is a roommates one, and it's another one. I got a lot of on this list this month. So this one of the heroes, I think is like very intrigued by his roommate, and he doesn't really know why. I don't think he's like out at the time that this book starts, and he's like kind of really drawn to his roommate, and as they kind of start getting to know each other a little bit more, and as they start to kind of like get into a relationship, he realizes that his roommate has like a dark past that he's kind of like hiding and that he's like really shut off, and kind of like uncovering that. And then he's also kind of like coming to terms with his sexuality over the course of the book too. It sounds really good. I don't really think I've heard anyone talk about this one, but it sounds good. I found it when I was just like scrolling through Goodreads looking for some to read, and I thought that this sounded good. And again, another new author to me, so we'll see. Then I have Headstrong Like Us by Krista and Becca Ritchie. This is the 6th book in the Like Us series. The Like Us series recently got added to KU, so while I do own this one physically, I will probably read it on KU, because honestly, that's kind of like the hang up of why I haven't continued with the Like Us series, is because I just don't read that many books physically, but I have loved the first 5 that I read. I did a reading vlog for them. I love their parents' books so much, and honestly, these might be my top books of the year. Like, I just have loved them, and this is Mafia and Pharaoh's 4th book in the series. I love Mafia and Pharaoh so much, and I'm so excited to be back with them. And this, I think, is just their like wedding book that I'm just really looking forward to seeing the two of these two cutie pies get married. I just love them. I would protect them with everything. And yeah, this obviously would not be a standalone. Like, you do have to read the other books because you don't just want to jump to their wedding. You got to see how they get there. But I'm really excited about getting back into the Like Us universe. So okay, next up is Shattered Hearts by Shea Ruby. So this one I've seen around for a bit. I love this cover. I think this cover is incredible. And I think the main thing that I know about this one is that it's like super toxic. I think our heroine, she's either like, is she struggling with alcohol or drugs or both? And then I think she gets tied up in then our hero, and like it sounds like, I think they're kind of like mutually destructive with each other. I don't know, but I love nothing more than like a really messy toxic situation. So if these two want to give me that, I will take it. I think it sounds great, and I think it's the first in a series. I think there's more books in it. But yeah, it's one that like I've had on my TBR for a while, and every single time like I scroll on Goodreads and see it, I'm like, I really need to check that one out. So I think I'm just gonna get it downloaded because it's one that's been on my radar for a while and it sounds really good. Next, I have To Be Alone With You by Jody Slaughter. So this one came back when I had asked you guys like what books you would recommend for me to read, and this was one of them, and I immediately added it to my TBR. I thought it sounded great, and then again, it just like gets buried. And when I was scrolling through Goodreads, I was like, I wanted to read that, so I'm putting that back on and on the forefront. So this one, I think it's an age gap, and I think it's a mom's best friend or something romance. So our heroine in this one, I think she like lose her job or something, or she's kind of like struggling a little bit like to find her place or whatever, and her mom proposes that she goes on vacation to like kind of like find herself, like recenter or something, and she ends up arranging for her to go to her friend's house, who is our hero, who she had like, I think like made a fool of herself in front of years ago, and she like hasn't seen him since then, and she ends up going to his house for like a vacation, and I think he ends up being there, and you know, there's the age gap. I think there's the mom in the mix, but they're like, we don't care, we just are like drawn to each other or something, and it ends up being their romance. It's fairly short too. I think it's like under 200 pages. It sounds amazing. This cover is stunning, and I needed to put it back on my radar again before it gets buried again amongst everything else that I keep adding. Then I have 2 hockey romances. So I specifically asked on my Instagram stories the other night, I was like, give me some hockey romances, because I am in the mood for them after I read The Graham Effect and Iced Out this past month, which you'll hear me talk about those in my wrap up next Tuesday. But I need more hockey. So the 2 that I got, that at least that I picked through just to like put on the TBR, I added a lot to my TBR, but the 2 that I thought sounded like the most up my alley right now. One, this is the one that I got the most, and that is The Rest of the Story by Val Bauer. So this one, because I specifically said in my stories, I was like, give me your favorite hockey romances, and then I said bonus points if one of them fights on the ice a lot, because I love a hot-headed hockey player. I love seeing them fight on the ice. And this one, so I think one of our heroes in this one, it's MM, I think they're teammates, and the one hero, he's very much just like all about him, and he doesn't really like responsibilities. He doesn't like do relationships. He doesn't really want any like additional responsibility, but he ends up getting traded, I think, to like the worst team in the league. And when he gets there, he is assigned to be like their team captain. And he's like, I don't really want this responsibility. And like this team is struggling. I think it's like a hodgepodge of people, of like veterans and like rookies, and just like they don't really have like a team flow at all. So he has his work cut out for him. And he ends up taking on this role, and I think then one of the guys on the team is the other hero, and I think it's like friends to lovers vibes. I don't know. Honestly, when I saw this cover at first, I was like, I don't know, but it sounds really good, and this one I got multiple times responded to that story, so I'm interested. I'm gonna give it a go, and I'm really hoping that one of them fights, because I love it. I love a hockey fight. And then last but not least, The Puck's Secret by G.N. Wright. I literally can't remember a single thing about this book. What was this one? Again, it was one that I got to that responses. What was it? The Puck's Secret. I've seen this cover around. It's the first book in a series, but what is this one? Oh, it was The Rival's Little Sister that I was like, hell yeah, sign me up. So this one follows our hero, who is a hockey player, obviously, and I think he's the captain of like his school's team, and then he ends up somehow meeting his rival's little sister, and like he's drawn to her or something. He just wants to cross that line, which like, thank you for crossing it. I love to see that. Thank you for my own entertainment. So anyways, that's the other one that I picked out of that bunch. But like I said, I do have a bunch of hockey ones that I did add to my TBR because I'm just always looking for a good hockey romance. So anyways, that is my TBR for December. That is the last TBR video of the year. We will see. I'm really looking forward to a lot of these books that I have on my list here. But for sure, first up is going to be Knock Knock by Nordica Knight when it comes out. And then I think it's going to be Where There's a Will by Jessie Walker. And then we'll kind of see from there. But those two, top priorities for me right now. So anyways, that is it for today's video. The last TBR of the year. On Friday, I will have my monthly Chat, Chill, and Get Ready with me. And then on next Tuesday, I will have my wrap up. My whatever. What month? Why can I not even process what that is? My November wrap up. Wow, I need to be done. Okay, anyways, that is it for today's video, and I will see you when I see ya.